It's live at 5 here on Toffee TV. We're not expecting any guests. We weren't expecting any guests earlier.
We weren't.
But one just
we got one.
strolled in and give us his views on the situation. But that's not going to happen now.
I mean, you don't know.
But it might do, so stay tuned.
Anyone could turn up.
Anyone could turn up.
You never know. You never ever
Yeah,
know.
of course.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Exactly. So, since we were last on, nothing's really happened.
But this is a good opportunity for you to get your view in on the situation.
Well, Frank Lampard, because we didn't really speak that much about it on lunchtime. I'm seeing a bit more. Been a couple of stories this afternoon saying Everton have approached him for a chat and all that. What's your feeling on Lampard?
Yeah. I don't really have a feeling for Lampard. That's why it's there's nothing. I don't know. I could see what the club would see in him being. He's very well liked. He's very well respected. He's got a great name in the game. He did a good job at Derby. He did an okay job at Chelsea. Especially the first season was an excellent job. Second season, not so much. And obviously that team was taken on and won the Champions League. Without being, I don't want to be one of, I don't want to sit here being one of those people who's like, well, who do you want? Because honestly, I just don't have any feeling towards him as the Everton manager. I just don't see it. I don't, he doesn't excite me. He doesn't excite me as a manager. And don't get me wrong, there aren't many who do excite me. I must admit, there aren't many who do excite me. Because it does feel like a poison chalice. It feels like a very particular job. And I've said this a couple of times. It feels like a job that the person who takes it really needs to love it. And in a way, we need to love them. And that's what will get them time and would get them... would give them the control that they need, and not everybody questioning every decision they make, even though we will, of course we will. But I just don't feel anything towards them. And I suppose if you don't feel anything towards anyone, it can become a bit of like, if he did get the job, you'd just be like ambiguous to it. And I felt like that. I felt like that about Benitez. I felt like that about Silva, where it's like, and to be fair, I felt like that about Ancelotti when he came in. It was like, let's see what happens. The name is exciting, and the more you think about it, and the more, for someone like Ancelotti, the more you're like, oh, this is interesting. But it doesn't pull me in one direction or not.
Is that because you know that the structure of the club isn't in place? Is that one of the things?
I think so. I think it really does, Baz. I think like a lot of us, we're really worn down by it all, and we just want 40 points, and we do though.
No,
we just want 40 points, and maybe with 40 points you can start seeing
patterns of
alternatives though. No, like alternatives, like things like Brantwaite playing, like if he's fit, like Patterson giving a go.
Yeah.
Listen, he's only been at the club's 2 games, so it's not like he hasn't not been given a go. It's just like it might be just too early. Little things being done, little changes, little taking risks here or there, being able to enjoy the game. Because you think, well, today's a game of football. The players being able to enjoy the game because it's just a game of football rather than having all this weight on it. But the professional footballers, no, at the moment, the emotion attachment to everything is so big that it's hard to focus on what one thing being something that's going to change it. I don't think there's a manager out there that would come in and guarantee anything at Everton Football Club now. I think that's where we are.
I mean, we'll be doing our live shows every day and discussing the latest on the manager and all that. Duncan Ferguson's got it at the moment. Interesting, the statement said for games and not just game. But that is obviously, I think you said as well, it's the case of them covering themselves, isn't it? I've seen a lot of people just saying, listen, just give it a dunk till the end of the season and just get on with it and make an informed decision over the next few months. So if he's doing really well, and it looks like he's getting a tune out of them, then maybe he's the right man. If you get another director or a structure in place behind him, or have a look who's going to be available in the summer. Because I know when people say things like Dunk hasn't done this or he's done that, it's not as if we're sat at a table with the option of going, well, Pep Guardiola wants it, or Jurgen Klopp wants it, or you know, Thomas Tuchel wants it, and these fellas are at the table, or Nagelsmann wants it. You're looking around going, who is that? Who? And you've just hit the nail on the head there. There's nobody who you can guarantee that is going to come in and turn this round. The problem I have is, we were talking to Paul Mason about it before, after Jamie Carragher had gone. It was like, well, when you go back through the managers, we tried the Belgian manager, we tried the Dutch and Barcelona ex-Dutch, ex-Barcelona manager, we tried Sam Allardyce, we tried the young up-and-coming Portuguese fella who's smashing it in the Championship at the moment. Then we tried a world-class, you know, decorated manager, albeit at the tail end of his career, but still doing very well, doing all right at Madrid. We tried that.
But don't forget also, just as a caveat, that he left us.
He did leave us, but what I mean is we tried that, but it wasn't exactly like... We went, let's be right though, we went fifth and flying, maybe.
No.
But we put nothing in that period of time, really, other than fleeting moments, has it looked like we are getting somewhere. Like Marco Silva had that last 3 months of his first season when it looked like everything had clicked. Ronald Koeman had is the second half of his first season when we won 9 out of 10 home games.
A lot of it, I think, structure-wise, I think other managers would get maybe more of a chance with more experience. I think maybe a more experienced owner might give Allardyce another year and said, see out your 18-month contract, let's have a dull year, and then next year we start the process again.
But wasn't it too much?
No, I know. I'm just saying that maybe more experienced fella in the helm might have done that. A more experienced, not more experienced, but under different circumstances. Marco Silva mightn't have left the club when he left the club, but because of the way the club was, he sort of had to leave. We don't. We as fans, obviously, we're obviously in a position where we are led with our heart more than we are with our heads. But I just, like you said, I don't think the club's set up very well for any of this drama. So there's no fallbacks. The squad is a mess. But I actually think at the end of this season that there's a real opportunity for a big reset with this. With you talk about like the players we've got. There's an opportunity of young players in our team there with a good mix of like 25, 26-year-olds, and not too many players at the other end apart from like Decore and Allen. So there's a core group there. I'm not saying the great players, but there's a core group who are young and can be moulded if the right people are at the club to shape them. And that will come at the end of the season when we lose, 3 or 4 on free transfers, and that opens up a couple of doors, and you've got rid of that problem and you can replace them. So, but the main problem is just the structure of the club. It's just, you just mentioned there, we desperately need someone like a Dan Ashworth, but it's not. But even if he came, it wouldn't happen overnight. So it's Marcel Brands said when he came, it was going to be a long process, but it was made even longer for him because of the interference from the owner, and now it's just, I said, you can't see the wood for the trees, and that's why whoever the manager is, I don't. To me, it's how much they have to galvanise this squad, and a lot of it's going to come from just motivation. It's got to be, hasn't it? It's got to be motivation.
I look at Everton's squad, and I still think once or 13, you've got 4. I think they got 14 players who can be a good side. There's others who, after that, there's no one really, and we've said it all season, and it's probably true about quite a few teams in the Premier League, but we look at ours more than anything else. Once you start going 3 or 4 out of that best 11, best 12 players. We just can't. We simply can't cope.
But
and
it shouldn't be like that because players should
sorry,
be...
just let me finish. But when you're doing that with a manager who isn't setting you up to try to go after teams anyway, it compounds the issue. Yeah. So they look far worse than maybe they are. And you said it the other week about the players not believing. You felt they weren't believing what he was saying anymore. No. Off corners, they look shell-shocked. Yeah. Every set piece off of, we look like we're terrified. And yet we're in January.
Yeah, because I'd always look at the set pieces, and I know, listen, zonal marking is a big thing, and I think if you can get it right, then you don't have to deal with it too much. But it comes down to like where players stand or all kinds. And I felt at the Brighton game that Michael Keane clearly wasn't comfortable playing doing what he was doing off set pieces, and therefore felt like he had to, like he was attracted to the ball. And that tells me he doesn't believe in what he was doing. It's a body language thing. It's dead easy. It's like, you know, if in any job, if someone tells you to do something a certain way, let's say you've been at a job for so many years and you're used to doing something and you know it gets results. Yeah. And someone walks in and goes, "No, do it like this," and you go, "All right, the last way worked. It's fine. We're all used to it. Can we just keep doing that?" And then the problem is you get attracted into doing the thing that you want to do. But it's almost like if everyone else still does the thing they were doing, you're the one who causes the problem. Yeah. It's like, you know, when you see people pressing, it's like if 9 outfielders don't press and that one player does press, the one player who presses is in the wrong. Yeah. Because if that's
the system, doesn't it?
If that's what you set up to play, low block or whatever, and one player keeps on pressing and leaving gaps all over the pitch. You know how many times have Everton played where they've sat back deep, gone the low block, made it really hard? You know, look at like the Chelsea game. If we'd had a couple of plays in that game who were pressing, it would have messed the whole thing up. And it nearly did, because when they scored, it was because we were gallivanting up the pitch. So that in that instance, I felt like you could see that Michael Keane wasn't comfortable with it. And if he's supposed to be the leader of your back four, then you've got major problems. So that has to be simplified. Maybe what Duncan will do is go, well, the number one thing I saw was last season we played a system that worked, and I'm going to revert to that. And he's going to learn off that, because that's all he can do. All he can do is see what worked, see what he was part of. He was assistant manager, Carlo Ancelotti. David Ancelotti had a system of set pieces. Now, he might go, that's what we're doing from now on, because there are 6 of you who were here, 7 of you here who remember that. So let's go back to that, lads. Let's go back to doing what we were doing last season and try that rather than what we've been doing this season. I can't imagine Duncan Ferguson was sitting on the bench thinking this is working, because he'll have known it's not working. But the manager thinks, well, this is my way. Well, Duncan go, well, this is my way because I know it works. Yeah. And it might be little things like that for Duncan that gets not only helps, but gets players on side going, yes, he listens, he understands, because he was here. And when people say Duncan Ferguson was part of 6 failed managers and all this shite, take that side of things where it's like, well, hang on, what if Duncan Ferguson the first day went, Gaffer, what we did last season worked brilliantly, we were getting goals and we were not conceding, and Rafa Benitez goes, no, we don't, I play my way. That's someone else's. What can Duncan Ferguson do in that system? What can he do then? He can do nothing. All he can do is maybe ask the question. But Rafa Benitez, we know Rafa Benitez is not. Rafa Benitez didn't listen to anybody. Not even experienced assistants that he's had for years. No. He doesn't listen to them. No. And so Duncan now has the chance to put that side of things with a set of players he knows, and he knows who he can trust and who he can't trust, and all the rest of it.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Like you said, names will continue to pop up, I imagine. The one thing you'd say about Evan is you never know what's going to happen, because the nature of the owner, and obviously you've got Bill Kenwright's input as well, so that anything can change at any time. Of course it can, but just right now, Everton are playing Villa at the weekend. Dunk's in charge. A lot of people are up for it. Jay Jones says, all right, Ped and Baz, great to be a Blue again. Up the Toffees. Yeah. Claire Campbell says, need to ask this, lads, is this the worst time to be going this issue, as surely it slows down our transfer activity? I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? I don't know. I honestly don't know.
No, that is definitely a problem.
It's an issue, but I don't know how much more Everton were going to do in this window anyway. He wanted a midfielder, didn't he? Everton may still go after a lone midfielder.
Yeah, it's who's left in the building, though, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think. Listen, Duncan's not stupid. We know
No, I know, but it's
know who he's after. Everton can still do deals.
No, I know they can. I know. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the sanctioning of these things and having the scouting reports and all the rest of it, and being able to get it over the line with less than 2 weeks now. It does make it a lot more difficult, but then so did, getting rid of your director of football and then getting rid of your manager and not replacing at least one of them. So,
I think loans. I think sometimes you can get a loan done because no one's really committing long term. They're here for a few months. And Everton, I guess Everton. See, this is why I think Everton probably need to make a decision on what they're gonna do very quickly. If they're gonna give it to Dunk till the end of the season, like a lot of people are suggesting, Jamie Carragher said it today. Just give him it and don't rush into anything because it can be the worst thing you do. If they are gonna do that, then they need to say to him, like, right, what do you think? Yeah. It's the players we need to have a look at. We know, from talking to people, agents do deals for everyone. So it's not, you can get it done. It's not that much of an issue, really. It's not ideal, of course it's not. We can always bring someone in on loan, I think. Michael Wood says, hit the like button while you're here. Just under 1,000 watching. Thank you very much. Kieran Bramble says, afternoon lads, can't wait to see Big Dunk on the touchline again. Should have Goodison rocking. Michael 7899 says, people saying they want another Hollywood manager with a big CV confuse me. Firstly, we've already tried that, and secondly, we can't attract managers like that. Could go wrong, but I want Rooney.
I think there's only one more Hollywood manager out there, and that's Mourinho.
Yeah,
I think he's the only one.
Do you want Jose Mourinho?
No, I don't. Not a chance.
I'm not saying, listen, I'm sure he's still got something to offer, but I would say right now, if you asked me, would he be on my list of managers? I wouldn't. Would I back him? Of course I would. But he wouldn't be on my list of managers, Jose Mourinho. I don't. Well, I think the time has come now where we have to just stop dreaming of we'll crack the top four and just start thinking, let's actually put some building blocks in place that if it went right, we would get in, or we'd be close to the top four or battling for it. Stop trying to jump to the top of the ladder, thinking that if you throw enough at it, it'll stick, rather than going, you know what, let's actually just build and we'll get there anyway. Because that seems to be the way to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah, you've got as a football club, we've got, like you just said, we've got to stop pretending that we are something that we're not. The Champions League is trying to get those places. They're elite. They're elite now. There's no.
I think fourth is up for grabs, but we're nowhere near it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
But 3 of those teams who are in the top 4 are elite. Yeah. They are. They are in the top echelon of world football.
Yeah.
And that leaves one place, and really it should be Man United's place, but they're making such a mess of it that it's given others a chance. West Ham, Arsenal, Tottenham,
Spurs, yeah.
But they should be good enough to go on a run, but they're just making a mess of it. We've got to stop thinking that way, and what we've got to start thinking is a way that will get us points. And then the thing about it is, if you think like that, like we're building something to win games of football. Sooner or later, if you do that properly, you will find yourself up there. Now, you won't be an elite. You won't be an elite club.
No.
But if you are pushing for those European places consistently, like West Ham have done, they're not consistently, but they've done it last season. They're doing this season, and you look at them and you don't think they're not a flash in the pan. Leicester have done it as well. They're not having a great season because of injuries. Because maybe I'm not saying they've peaked, but they've had a bad season with injuries. So you've got to keep your players fit. I appreciate that. But if you do things the right way, you're only going to go one way. See with Brighton are doing it at the moment, and I know some people go. I understand when people go, "What's Graham Potter really done, or what's he really doing?" They are, I think, 9 points ahead of us at the moment. But if you were to look at Brighton as a football club and look at the players they've brought in and look at how well coached they are and well drilled they are and the play, look at the players they've got and you go, where did they get him?
They're 10 points ahead of Everton, but Everton have got 2 games in hand on them.
But you look at them and you say,
where
did they get him from?
Why didn't everyone go after Basuma?
I think
Why didn't everyone go after Mathew?
Well, last night, I think Carragher said last night that the centre-back is the best English centre-back out there at the moment because he comes out with the...
Webster?
Yeah.
Adam Webster?
Because he says he comes out with the ball, both-footed, and he can defend. He said at the moment he's the best English defender out there. You think, and you're thinking...
Adam Webster.
They sold the other fella for 50 to Arsenal, and then they've got this fella.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's...
Because they do it properly. This is what I can't get my head around with Farhad Moshiri. Sit down with someone who know and let them tell you how to do the club, and then just go, you know what, have the money, what do you need? Right, there you go. What do you need? There you go. And go from there. Stop trying to go, I know what you're telling me is probably right, but I'm just going to try and throw this dart through that little crack in the wall there, and if it goes through, we're amazing. The chances are it ain't going through.
I just think, Baz, the problem with him is he just gets... I remember somebody...
He gets wooed.
I remember somebody telling us something about him once. About when they done the root and branch investigation at the club. Top, bottom, root and branch. And literally they said they did it. And when it came back, they said to him, yeah, there's the investigation, it's over. And he just went... He's just like... Oh, what? Is that still a thing? Like, it gone. He was on to the next thing. He wasn't interested in that. He was on to the next thing. Yeah. The man clearly is bored. The man is clear. Get yourself a mistress or something, mate. Honestly.
Toffee TV doesn't condone the use of mistresses or what is it? What is it?
Mistry.
Mistry. It's
Mistry.
It's male, yeah.
Right. No, I mean, that's multiple.
But if it keeps you happy,
right.
Fair play.
Get good at golf. Do something.
Get good at running Everton.
No.
You're that bored.
No. That he's proved he can't.
But you know what he's proved he does is he's on a yacht and he gets wooed.
No, he gets bored
he
gets bored and he's like
deep in.
He's on his phone. Gets bored on his phone and goes, "Oh, this lad looks all right, doesn't he?" And that's why I'm surprised he hasn't gone for Graham Potter. Because Dan Ashworth.
I never heard of them yet.
Because maybe they're not on his Twitter feed.
Yeah.
But
get Brighton notifications on Farhad.
But that's what I'm saying. He seems to get like he goes after the thing that is like that's not a way to run a club. The way he runs club is put people in charge who understand the modern game.
Yeah.
Farhad Moshiri and Bill Kenwright are not those two people. No. Whether you like them or you don't like them, they are not. Like I said yesterday, Bill Kenwright is an analog man in a digital age, and Moshiri has proved he doesn't get.
Moshiri, one is probably just past it, and the other one has got other interests, and Everton's just a side issue for him and the other fella. Michael Wood says, hey you guys, so everyone who isn't a patron, hit like and subscribe as you don't do much else to help the channel. No one likes greedy red behaviour. Fair enough, Michael. I mean, you've gone route one. Gary Ward says hello. Meister says, we tried every type of manager, lads. Isn't it time for Alan the Pardew? Imagine that dancing on the touchline.
That time will never be.
No, it'll never be the right time, will it?
That will never be the right time. There will never be a time when that's the right time.
When Pards is the answer.
There's not. The time has come and gone. If it was ever going to happen, it was for a nanosecond.
Years ago.
When the Y2K bug was about to hit, and everything was going to flatline. That was the moment, but it never happened. It
didn't happen.
So.
Gray Leeds says, it's my birthday today. Happy birthday, mate.
Happy birthday, Gray Leeds.
38 years of age, so like any self-respecting 38-year-old, all I can say is up the effing Toffees. Duncan is my hero. Well, happy birthday. Eric Nielsen says, great Tuesday topic yesterday. It was on Patreon.
It was on Patreon. Patreon exclusive. Yeah. For patrons only, for people who are patrons. Why not become a patron? Links in the description.
That got close to answering the question I've always had. Which is why do we think Moshiri has not replaced the board, or at least Kenwright? New majority shareholders typically put their own board in place to assert control, or if they leave the old board in place, it's because the business is generally successful and profitable, which plainly we are not. What is your theory for why Managerial has been unwilling to replace the board, or at least Kenwright, after so many years as an owner? I think figuring out the answer to that might get us closer to sorting out what could be done to motivate Managerial to change the board. Yeah,
I can't keep stressing this enough. Why is our chairman a fella who has had 22 years of zero success at Everton, and why do we think we are going to be successful under him? I don't know any other company that would do that. I honestly don't. If like Odeon, some fella was the boss, and he kept every year it was like, yeah, we've made a big loss again, mate. Oh, but have we won any awards in the best cinema place of the year? No, we haven't. We came 11th in the last 2 seasons and got a couple of 7th finishes. You'd go, I think we might need a new fella to run this club on a day-to-day basis. You know, I can't understand why. It's glaringly obvious. And the problem is you've got too many of his fucking mates in the media patting him on the back, telling him how amazing he's done in the heart. Do you know what? Even if, and he didn't, but even if Bill Kenwright had done an amazing job in the Moyes era, which he didn't, by the way, but if he had, that was 10 years ago, and it's now a different era, and now we've got actual. No, makes me laugh, right? Do you remember when clubs used to get taken over by billionaires and you go, oh my God, they're going to win everything? Yeah. Now people get taken over by billionaires every day and you just go, well, they have to. Because you can't be a Premier League team without basically being owned by a billionaire. So we're in the era of billionaires in football. And we've got a fella who mortgaged his house twice running us. It doesn't make any sense to me, that. It really, really doesn't. Because he's not good at the job. And I can't. It's like I'm banging my head on a wall trying to understand why you would have a fella who is way past it running a Premier League football club when it should be a up and coming man, savvy man who understands modern football and the world as it. Can you imagine trying to get him to understand cryptocurrency and things like?
I mean, listen, he might be amazing.
Do you know what? Bill Kenwright might be the nicest man in the world, right? But he's not fit to run our football club, especially with the fella who owns it not having a Scooby-Doo, right?
He might be good at cryptocurrency, though.
He might be. I've heard his big one. He loves NFTs. He's big on the he likes buying NFT artwork. Loves it. Just him and Jenny sit down every day with the catalogue.
Okay, fair enough.
Through it.
Josh Foy on the super chat says Carragher coming on was hilarious. Looking forward to Dunk getting his chance. Scouser in Ontario, Canada. 2 foot of snow just landed. Great content. Nice one, Josh. Up the Toffees. Nice one for the super chat. Would you enjoy 2
foot of snow?
Would I?
Yeah.
Why? Because it'd be above my head. I thought you meant a small joke.
I never said anything.
You know when I would at like certain times, like because
I
would on like the 23rd of December.
The problem with snow
off or the 24th.
Yeah, for a good week. For a good week.
Yeah, for about a week.
For about a week. The problem with snow in this country is it comes down. You may get a day of it, and then it goes all slushy and horrible, and it goes horrible. Whereas like 2 foot, that's sticking around for a bit. Isn't it? I mean, it's quite literally sticking around.
It is.
It's sticking.
Be great. Yeah, you see it like in Canada and places like that. It looks amazing, doesn't it? We don't really get that. Every now and again we get a good foot. If that, we don't
foot?
No, we don't.
When did we get a foot of snow?
I was going to say, we get a... But I'll just leave it.
How old are you?
Yeah.
A foot of snow?
When I was a kid. But yeah.
That was Fallout.
Where are we? Big Mal says the problems run deeper than the manager. We know that, yeah. Definitely. Absolutely. Stephen Segerberg says going the match is like going back in time. Everton need to wake up. It's 2022. Bill finally needs to let go. Toffee Blue Nose says the problem is Moshi and Kenwright. Daniel says get Rooney or stick with Duncan. Adam Brooks simply says Duncan Ferguson, Duncan. Fair play. He's ready. Alex Kendrick says don't call away. He'll get the work rate out of the players and no one will mess around with him. Or they'll be shown the door.
Defo.
Yeah, well, that's what we want, isn't it? It's what we want is the best we can get, and we want players who are working hard. We want players who give everything, you know, and then their ability will come out, because there's some good players. They're not showing it. They haven't been showing it. And we need someone who's going to make tough decisions. But the fans will get behind them. And that was it. That is the thing. George Kiley says the club needs to put a 5-year plan in place. It isn't rocket science. This doff and manager is the most important decisions in the club's history. If not, we're heading into the abyss. Well, it's okay putting them in. And you're absolutely right, by the way. It's okay putting them in. You've got to let them get on with the job. If Everton are after Dan Ashworth, and the story's grown today, then they're gonna have to pay him big bucks. I've got no issue with that, because the fella's proven. That's actually someone who's proven. Yeah. But you got to let him do the job then, because otherwise leave him where he is.
But the problem is, though, that is going to put him off, though, isn't it? What has happened before him?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's dead easy to go, yeah, we'll let you get on with the job. But I think they told Marcel Brandt that a couple of times, especially after the Iwobi incident.
I just think he would want assurances immediately.
That's like, how do you give people assurances, though? Well, how do you do it? Like, you'd have to make legal assurances.
Yeah, but that's what you'd have to do. If you're going to do it, you've got to do it. Matthew Barry says, even the lads, hope you're well. Great example of the magic of live TV earlier today when Carragher turned up. What do you make of Big Nev's comments today? I think they're superb, Matthew. I think he's on the money, as always. He would be a fantastic board member, Neville Southall. I really do. You know, like a consultant or a non-executive one or whatever, but someone who knows what standards are. Talks about the standards. He talks about, you know, Jordan Pickford and Dominic Calvert-Lewin are really good, but we should be looking for a better goalie and a better striker, because that's how you improve. You know, and things like that never settle. Once you start settling, then you're not really moving forward anymore. And that's what the best clubs do. The best clubs have great players, but look for better ones than them. And if they can get them, great.
But it's that weird, isn't it? It's standards, isn't it? It's standards. It's about having standards. It's about people who know about standards.
Yeah, definitely. Gray Lead says, I'd go for Favre in the technical director or Duff role. Do you think that's another square peg round hole scenario? I don't know, because at this stage in his life, 64 he is now, Lucien Favre, knows how to build football teams. Maybe he would be interested in moving into that side. You know, like Arsene Wenger would be another one, wouldn't he? But I don't think he'd do that for Everton. But
no, he's too busy trying to destroy football.
Yeah, changing things. But those kind of men, I mean, people would say now and go, well, 60s, the football's changed and all that. Well, Favre's been coaching. Rangnick, who's built clubs, is he going to stay on at United? I know they had that consultant thing in place. If United have got anything about them, they'll make him the director of football. Football
does change, but coaches change as well. They change with the times.
But would you, I'm saying like Lucien Favre in that director of football role, would you want a 60-odd-year-old man in that, or would you want a younger fella in there?
From the things I've seen, I think it's a really complex job now.
It's huge, isn't it?
It's a big job now. Dan Ashworth would be running the football club.
If we got Ashworth, yeah. Well, that's what he's doing at Brighton.
That's what I'm saying. He runs the football club. He runs the football club. He runs everything. Everything comes off him. Everything goes through him, and everything's interweaved, and it's all interconnected. But it all goes through him.
Sense, though.
And that's how you're supposed to do it. Whereas at our football club, we are bizarre. We're a bizarre.
We are bizarre.
We try to create something which doesn't work and has got no proof of work. And I think they need energy. They need energy as well. Yeah. Running a football club now.
We need someone, and I hope Duncan can do this very quickly. We need someone to just calm everything down. And if Duncan could get a win on Saturday, and it's a game we can win. It's a tough game, but it's a game we can win. That would really calm a lot of people down. And then obviously if they left them in place, we could, beat Brentford. Then we'd be in the 5th round of the FA Cup. We'd have won, and then go to Newcastle. Yeah, it's a winnable. Another Newcastle are rubbish. Even no matter who they bring in, they're still rubbish because the bar's so low. But it'd be a tough game because of the crowd and all that.
Because we're rubbish.
But if you can, because we are as well. So there you go.
I think what'll be interesting is Dunk's press conference this week. I think it could really set the tone for. And what I mean by that is, when he came in last time, he was very excitable. I think that, I'm not sure that would be I might be wrong. I'm not 100% sure that's the right tone this time, because I think he's had them all week, and I think if I'd like to see him a little bit more measured, and get across what he wants. Looking forward to the game. I think last time it was obviously very early, and it very quickly came, and he probably hadn't had that much sleep either.
No, he didn't sleep last time.
So I think that will be an interesting one, his press conference, and we'll gauge where he is and
the mood and all
his
that,
mood and his level of knowing how serious the situation is and what he's trying to. Because I think for us, we're not. I don't think we are. I think we sit here and we are. I think there's obviously this genuine worry. So we want the club to be very serious about this, and we want the players to understand it's a very serious thing. I think the manager knows it's very serious, and I think it's about portraying that.
Do you think? I mean, just ask you this about Benitez. Do you think the way he kept saying second half of the season will be good, second half of the season will be good, do you think that he maybe should have been a little bit more concerned about the now?
Yeah.
Rather than going,
he never got a second half of the season.
Well, exactly.
For an experienced manager, I don't get what he was thinking by saying stuff like that. Buying himself time is what he was doing, but I don't understand that. And also obviously the comments about him saying it was a lot more serious than the situation at the club. That's very telling that the club is a mess. Inside, and he said he obviously thought there was money and there wasn't money.
Yeah.
There's other bits and pieces being told about him knowing. Get him on! See if he'll come on. Imagine if we got him on after getting him on. Do you need to take it?
No, I'll bring him back.
Say, do you want to come on live?
He's not going to. Yeah, I didn't mean to.
Oh, you nearly got him on FaceTime there. That'd have been interesting. Can't say who it was, but there you go. Message him back.
Just think of me. I'll be back.
Just go on. See if you can.
Hello.
I can't tell you who that is, but yeah, can't tell you. Mate. I can't tell you. I'm afraid. Yeah. I don't. Ned.
Yeah.
No, it's all right. He might be back in a minute. We'll give it a couple of minutes and see if he comes back. Baz on the phone to a certain person. Yeah. Just going off what I was saying there. I think Benitez is just mad for trying to put all the eggs in one basket for the second half of the season. Absolutely mental. Let me have a look into the characters into the comments. Where were we? Why is Baz being really loud? Like he's trying to let us hear one half of the conversation. Andy Budd says, "All right, lads, let's hope Dunk's got the turmeric doses right this week." Says, I haven't been this excited for it. Have we done that one? Paz says, we only say ex-Evertonians win trophies. Does Roberto Martinez count? Well, he never won a trophy at us, did he? Hang on. I can hear half of this conversation, and it's not good. Tom says, if Rooney does get the job, do you think it's imperative he has a top quality coach and staff supporting him, similar to what Gerrard has? He's got Michael Beale, who is a very good tactician, and McAllister, who is an experienced ex-manager. I wouldn't want him to just bring his Derby staff with him, if it makes sense. Was thinking someone like Steve Holland with Dunk and Carsley along those lines. Yeah, Carsley I think Carsley's an excellent coach. I think Carsley would be spot on. Someone like that. Get a few round them. Even why am I pointing over there? Even Dunk. Even Dunk probably could do with a few round them. Got to be careful what I say here. I can't say it on net. I've got to be very careful about what I say.
Managers
Hello, Baz, can you take team for Saturday? Mike says your earlier comment about Tim Cahill being a doff or marketing consultant is exactly the type of thinking we need on the board. We need the board to consider. Anyway, you can put in a word of Dunk and have him connect with Timmy on the other line. On the other line, yeah. Brian Garza says, "Hi lads, playing catch up due to work, but must say that that Rooney should only be assistant to Dunk, who has been in the game longer, understands the game, and can manage the game. He outmanaged Lampard's Chelsea. Lampard should not be entertained. He is capable and not afraid to make tough decisions. What more can we want in a candidate? I think Rooney's a manager now, isn't he? He's not going to come as an assistant. And I think Everton have got a decision maker. I don't think they'll go for Rooney. I really don't. I think in the summer they might have a little look at it, but I don't think he will go for him now. RCO2 says, listen to what you lads said about Kovac, and I just want to clarify. Kovac was really good with Croatia, setting up a fundamentals as the coach after him. He left Croatia in 2015 to go to Frankfurt, where he was in the same position as we are now, and saved them. He went on to win the German FA Cup with Bayern, against Bayern, first trophy in 20 years, and then he ended by getting Frankfurt into Europe. At Bayern, he won the season against Favre and managed 2.26 points per game in the whole time they was managing the league, and finally at Monaco he took a place floating around a team floating around the relegation zone, and then took them to second but got sacked because he went against the club and was getting results instead of playing players to increase their transfer value. Listen, I don't think either of us said Kovac wasn't up to the job. What we were saying is that he's very tough, and he's a very tough manager. And to be fair, I think what we were both saying was I don't think our players could cope. I just don't think this set of players could cope with him. He's a bit like Bielsa in that kind of thing, when people go, should get Bielsa. It's like, this set of players couldn't cope. And that's not an excuse not to bring a manager in. We were just thinking that he might be able to cope. He's certainly a very, very good manager. He also says, can you give me some hope and tell me if there is any serious interest? I can't tell you if there's any because I don't know. Michael Wood says, lads, on my Footy Manager 2022 save, Mashiri sold up in September 2025. I'm yet to see if the new owner is rich or not. Fingers crossed. Also, I finished 4th, 5th, 9th and 6th in that time with the FA Cup win. Could I apply for the job in real life? Would you take the results in real life right now? Yes, I would, but I don't think you can apply for it. Sol says, even lads, if Don't gets the job, which I hope he does, we probably wouldn't see another American pre-season tour for a while. Maybe if he's the manager and he got his visa in earlier, it would make a big difference, I think. Lozenger says, evening lads, been great talking in work to fellow Blues and feeling excitement for Saturday. It's been a while. Adam says, is Micah injured? Never saw him in the training video. I don't know. Maybe he just had a little bit of a knock or something. I'm not sure. Try and find out. Don't know off the top of my head. Carl says, hello lads. Hope all is well. Hopefully Dunk does well and they just give him the job. Really think he's everything we need. Paz says, I think we're only a good engine in midfield and a leading defence away from a good team. Paz says, agree with Ped that if we get through the season, there is a good opportunity for a new coach next season with so much off the wage bill and a good core of players. Matt Thompson says, can you see any surprises in the lineup on Saturday? And Nyongo maybe? I can't see. No, I could imagine Nyongo might be in and around the squad because we are very short in midfield. But I can't see him starting, and I can't really see any surprises starting the game either, to be honest. So we'll wait and see. Is your mum all right?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah. Mike says your earlier comments about Tim Cahill being a doff or a market.
Yeah,
have you done that one? Where are you up to?
Go down to Matt Thompson on Patreon.
Mike says, you think with this merry-go-round of different managers, it'll cause the players to be less incentivised to play better after a few losses. They know the owner will not stand for it and the manager will just be sacked anyway. Although managers we've had are not solely to blame, more blame on the players. You know, another thing with with like the Duncan Ferguson thing.
Yeah.
Is that with the players, you've got to think of it like we're thinking of it as fans as well, aren't we? So we're going, we want to know what's happening. If the club are going to take that decision to keep him in place, they need to come to that decision quickly, I think, because that rubs off on the players then. Imagine if you're a player and Dunk's taking training, if you're thinking, you're not going to be here next week, mate, which I imagine some players were thinking last week about Benitez.
Yeah.
Thinking if we lose this, mate, you're gone, so I'm not doing what you tell me or whatever. I think the quicker the club comes to that...
It's the authority, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the quicker to go, you're the man, he's the manager till the end of the season. Yeah. If you're a player, go, well, all right, well, I've got to listen to what he says till the end of the season at least because he's my manager. I think it gives that clarity to everybody. And then everybody, if it is Dunk till the end of the season, and that's because... And the club can easily come out and go, listen, after thinking about it, we've decided to take our time over it. We're going to... Duncan Ferguson, the interim manager, until the summer. Yeah. And we're going to take that decision of who's our permanent manager in the summer. Everyone then can go, right, well, let's get behind them for the rest of the season. Because we want a Premier League football club at the end of the season, by the way. Yeah. Don't we? So we have to back the team. And people will back Duncan. And then if people go, well, he's the manager till the summer, let's see how he does. Yeah. And then he'll have... If they do that, he's got half a season in the Premier League. Yeah, half. Right? If he gets to the end of the season and Everton are terrible and he's not being able to affect anything, and these, even if they stay up, they get a few wins, but nothing's changed or whatever, then you've got then a sample size of games where you can turn around and go, if he had the 19 and he had 3, he'd have had 22 games as a Premier League manager. You could turn around then and go, is he good enough or whatever? People know then, don't they? People aren't guessing. But I think the club, if that's what they're intending to do, obviously, for all we know, they might turn around next week and announce someone permanently. We don't know. Yeah. But if they're going to give it to Duncan until the end of the season, I think the quicker they let everybody
give them the authority.
Know. And then that helps the players, I think, focus. And then who knows? Listen, the last ex-Everton striker who took us halfway through a season when we were in relegation trouble ended up keeping us up and winning the FA Cup. So, we're talking about... It sounds a million miles away, but I can guarantee you, even when Joe come in 94, it seemed a million miles away. Everton could win an FA Cup. You know what I mean? So
Everton staying up felt a million miles away.
Didn't it? So and ironically, we took the same amount of points in the last 12 games as we did that season. Between August and October, we'd have 5 and 12 games, which is the worst we've had since then. So. Yeah. Dexy says, hello lads, and hello Gary. What's your programme earlier? Carragher came running in. I so wanted Ped to do his impersonation, but you bottled it, Ped.
I didn't bottle it, I've just got more respect.
Yeah, it's
for a man.
Be respectful.
He's just walked in.
I think he is joking.
I know, but he's just walked in. He's just sat down. Like, I want to ask him a few questions. I'm not going to go, so, what do you think of the managerial situation? To be fair, he didn't even know we were live. He could have told us to fuck off.
I know, he didn't know.
Didn't know we were live.
Yeah, we probably should have said, we're a bit live. Kev says, I can't stress how much I want Rooney and Dunk to be put in charge as co-managers. Maybe, I really think it will. I don't know where the co-managers were, but we'll see. The passion and energy they will bring to our club will be amazing. Plus, any players, future or present, will be left without any doubt about what it is to play for Everton Football Club. If you had Duncan, Wayne, plus maybe Baines and Cahill, it would be kind of like we had our own modern day version of the Anfield boot room. Please, Everton, stop looking at Hollywood managers and Southern Tories.
But you've still got to have an infrastructure, haven't you?
Got to have it.
You've got to have an infrastructure. You've got to have...
You see, someone
who ties it all together.
Someone like Dunk or someone like Rooney, if they did get the job full time, I still think they've got to go outside the football club and look for another coach, like one of the best coaches you can get. You were telling me there's an ex-Everton coach who's highly rated at Chelsea, someone like that. I don't know whether Everton could get him, I don't know.
He's at Everton.
He's at Everton. But what I'm saying is, look at those kind of people and go,
no, there's like...
Come and join my coaching.
Someone mentioned, obviously, Lee Carsley before, and that's a very root one, but he is the England under-21s manager. And he's not he's someone that is not a glamorous name. And maybe you wouldn't go, you're going to be the manager of Everton anytime soon. but they're good coaches. I mean, let's not forget one of the major reasons Howard Kendall's team in the 80s was successful is because they got Colin Harvey. Because they got a fella every day who challenged them, who coached them, who made them run harder, made them work harder. And you had Howard Kendall, you had his maybe a bit more laid-back approach. He was the authority, he was the manager, but then you had a proper coach on at them every day. And obviously simple at times. But there's good coaches out there, and clubs. These coaches are there. They're working in the background. They're doing the jobs. They are... Some of them out there, you know, there's names you talk, but this is what I suppose that's what a Graham Potter probably in the old days would have been. Yeah, but now they get a little bit more of a chance in the modern age because of data. Andy, because of data, these fellas can prove now. In the old days, it's like, well, convince me he's a good player or whatever, and all that kind of. Now there's data, and these fellas use this data, and they use it in the coaching, and they understand it. And very, very clever modern managers use the data, use it in the coaching sessions, can work with people, probably never probably raised his voice to anyone, and can get it across to modern footballers. That's how and there's a few. I think that, you know, you look at the guy Forrest. I think he's a bit similar, isn't he?
Steve Cooper.
I think he's a bit similar.
He's another one who's about to pop, I think.
You know, he's done well according to the people that, you know, I know of Greg, who we were in Germany with, you know, he raves about him. So there's these coaches are out there, but we just absolutely love going Route 1, and that's because of the structure, because people don't understand the game. They don't understand the modern game, and that how is that a surprise when you've got no modern football thinkers in the higher echelons of the football club? And that's maybe where a Tim Cahill could come in and not come in, by the way, and be the fella who goes, we need to go and find this fella. He might be the fella who comes in and goes, I can find you the fella who can find you the fella.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
it is interesting, like, isn't it? Interesting to see what actually happens. Yeah, I think the problem Everton have got right now is I've said it before, there's nobody out there who externally really probably who's a sure thing. Is that for us? Because the structure, we've said it before, the structure's not right at the football club. There's no one. You know, I like Graham Potter. I'd be quite happy to see Graham Potter come in because I think he knows his mind. But would Graham Potter be the same in Everton Football Club what he is in Brighton?
Not a chance.
He'd be set up for fail like other managers have. So it's really difficult, and I guess unless the club, I don't know how you do it, but unless the club get that structure in place and really start taking that seriously and allowing people to do their jobs. It's like getting a frigging painter and decorator in and stopping them going, no mate, I'll cut in there, you go and sit down, and then moaning about it because you're then sacking them going, this ceiling's rubbish. When you've done some of it yourself.
Like getting a painter and decorator and you just painting it.
That's the thing, isn't it? And he's sat around.
And then wondering why it's a terrible job.
Yeah, I thought that's the thing, isn't it? If you're going to bring someone in, give them a big fat contract, let them do the job. Yeah. It's like, mate, make him accountable. Say to the director of football or sporting director or technical director, whatever way you want to word it, you are accountable. Let everybody know it's all on him. He's accountable for running our football club. You make sure you have to speak to the press, or you have to speak to our TV channel, Everton Football Club, and you've got to do a thing every few months about where we're up to. There's going to be a line of accountability right the way through it, and for that we will pay you handsomely to do it, and we'll trust you, and you will shape our football club. And I think fans would then buy into that.
I don't think we're asking for too much here either, are we? What we're asking for is just appoint people, good people, and let them do the job. I don't think we're asking for too much. We're not asking to go and sign Romelu Lukaku or Kevin De Bruyne or whoever else. We're not asking to go and bang on Man City's door and give us Pep Guardiola. We're asking for sensible appointments.
Yeah, well, there's Andy, the Pips in the comments there, says hire an external company to do a strategic review and then make the staffing recommendations. Okay. I mean, that alone just sounds like a sensible idea to me.
I think he's got a little bit of skin in the game though, hasn't he?
Maybe.
You know.
Maybe. Yeah, but the thing about it is you see it, don't you? You see it with other, you know. We've seen a bit like Dortmund. It's not quite the same, but when they have like consultants come in and go, that's what you're doing.
Don't have this is the top and bottom of Everton's problem, right? The simple fact is, they will not. They. If someone from Everton Football Club was watching this now, they'd be fuming that we're calling them out, right? Because we know that. We know we've been doing this for long enough to know
they don't like
that. They don't like when things get too close. When people are having a go at people at the club for failing, right? For failing, can't even say it. For failing, right? So why would they let somebody come in and do a review of the club that's going to tear them apart? Right? Why would they let that happen? No. I've said this for years.
No.
I've said this for absolutely for years and years and years and years while I've been doing things, right? Everton Football Club would never encourage anybody to come in from the outside because it might mean that you lose your job.
I know.
And that's the problem.
But the owner, this is what I'm saying to you, right? The owner shouldn't care about that.
No, I know.
The owner shouldn't go, well, you know, Kevin, who works there, there might be a recommendation that we have to replace him. Other Kevins are probably good at the job. I'm just saying, this fictional Kevin. Sorry, mate, we have to replace you because there's a recommendation you're not doing your job properly or whatever. However that may be. It's not someone... It's difficult if you're doing it within... So it's like difficult, I think, for Denise Barrett-Baxter. I'm going to use her because she's the CEO. Right, we're going to do a strategic review. Then she's got to make those decisions to sack Kevin. Poor Kev's having a mare here. Yeah, sacked by everyone. Kev. But if a company that the owner says, my club, I own it, it's my club, and this company is coming in to do an external review, and they're reporting back to me, and when I get the list back, hopefully he hasn't gone on to the next thing, but when I get the list back and it says replace A, B and C by getting this, this and this, I do it, and that's it.
But what if one of those suggestions is, owner, keep your nose out the business?
But that's how...
No, I know that's what I'm saying, though, isn't it? That's the problem.
It doesn't have to be quite as vulgar as that. It can be.
But it should be.
Let these people do their job.
Fair enough. No,
can't it? That's what it can be. And if you do that, then guess what? You might get a little bit of success.
I can't speak for everything that's ever gone on in the last 10 years.
Hit that like button.
But my experience of this football club,
1,200 watching, just give it a little like.
My experience of this football club is it doesn't like, number one, it doesn't like criticism. It hates criticism.
Yeah.
It'll ring you up, or it'll blacklist you for giving criticism. But the other side of it is, it doesn't like it. Everyone's very protective. They all want. There's people that
empire building, innit?
There's people at Everton who've been there for far too long, and they are now institutionalized.
Yeah,
I can't say it. Me teeth.
It's like I'm asking Ned to say it.
I know. It's
institutionalized.
That is no. At the club, so you've got. I've said this before. You've got people who leave the job or lose the job, and the person who takes over from them is the person who's their understudy. It happened with Denise Barrett-Baxter. It just seems to happen all over the place. They don't. If someone isn't good enough for the job, they give that job to somebody else within the club rather than going out and looking for new people.
And yet they don't do it with the manager's job.
Everton have got to start looking at this. Farah Mashay's got to start looking at this. And this can't go on. It's like a big fun club where you're allowed to do what you want. No one wants to do better. There aren't any standards at the football club. No one seems to be challenging each other. No one seems to be able to take criticism. So if I say something, or Neville Southall should be able to criticise anyone he wants at Everton Football Club, anyone he wants, and still
be welcomed
back every single game.
As long as he doesn't make it personal.
No, it's not about being personal. No, I'm not making. I certainly don't make it personal, right? If they're not doing the job, and Neville Southall, who's got a right to say what he wants, says you're not beholding the standards of the football club, then every day of the week Neville Southall should have the red carpet rolled out for him, or blue carpet.
Legend.
Because he's a legend, and he's earned the right. He's earned the right to say whatever he wants, but he won't. So for 15, 20 years or 15 years, they didn't.
When he goes to match now, other people buy tickets.
He goes in the park with
Dave and Keith.
It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. Derek Mountfield told us what the situation, I've heard it off lots of ex-players. It's a disgrace.
That's why Ratcliffe fell out with the club.
Yeah, because he said he wanted to be an ambassador.
Jagielka.
And they got someone else to be an ambassador who isn't the most successful captain of all time at Everton Football Club. Like, this is the point. Everton, these people who work for Everton now can't take criticism. So how the fuck are they going to have someone come in?
Because, like, the
picture
said,
no,
like
I
said,
I know.
the owners...
They're not going to do it, though, because...
the owner's outside the club.
But
the owner, it's his club, so...
But unfortunately... For some bizarre reason, he's kept the people on at the football club who are terrified of their own shadows and anyone else. When you hear these things, they're scared of the fans. Do me a favour. Our fans are some of the loyalist fans going.
Yeah, without a shadow.
And we will back our club we don't just fall in. Some of them do, but we don't just fall into line because we support the club. We have standards and we expect certain things. So the idea of, like, we're going to do a review of the club, who's doing it? We are. Who are you, the Tory government? Honest to God, who are, get, like Andy just said, someone from the outside who comes in and says, we're going to shine a light on, and it's not going to be a normal light, it's going to be a black light, so we can see all the stains, like it's a cheap motel in the middle of America. We'll see all the stains.
I knew it was coming. Very much like the light, yeah. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And that's where we are, aren't we? Toothy Orifice says, when you describe the club that way, I just think, thank God we've got Duncan Ferguson as assistant manager. Phil Hughes says, look at Ajax structure, the past players coming back now to the club. Eben van der Sar, CEO, Mark Overmars, technical director, Heitinger, Ajax 2 coach, and Pienaar, promising coach, coming through the system.
Well, that's the way they do it. If you go back to Ajax, don't expect special treatment. If you go back to Ajax, you start at the bottom. Do you know what? If you ever get, I've said this before, there's numerous Ajax documentaries. There's one from years ago where they had a database in the early 90s, and Robbie Fowler was on the database. He was 13, and he was on this database, and they just it's anything on Ajax or any Dutch team that's fascinating. That Feyenoord documentary is amazing. Bringing in guest coaches to freshen it up, bringing in people on a Friday like Van Persie or Tingo, what's his name?
Kite.
I blocked it out.
Blocked it out. I was just laughing because Cody Niffen, who's obviously American, said, why did the shit hotel have to be in America?
Because we don't have motels. We don't have motels like that. You can't just, like, rent anywhere for an hour here. I mean, Ned's side, but it just doesn't happen.
As Human says, I'll dance naked on the streets of New Delhi if Everton beat Villa 5-0 at the weekend.
That's a very precise.
It is very precise, so there you go. Barry says, boss show, enjoyed the Jaffa cakes, lads. Cheers, Baz, for the Jaffa cakes, by the way, and the hats.
And these are the actual Jaffa cakes.
They are the actual Jaffa cakes. Right, hit that like button.
We should have a deal with them, shouldn't we?
100%, mate, 100%. Hit the like button on the way out. Much appreciated. We'll be back tomorrow at around 1.
Are you just getting us off now?
Yeah, let's go.
I mean, you walked out for 20 minutes.
I know. You know what? Let me say before we go, actually, happy birthday to me mother-in-law this birthday. I am on the
and she will be watching.
Because
when I went to your wedding anniversary, she pulled me aside and she was just like, I agree with everything you say. He's too positive. I'm like you, wear crap.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds exactly like Mary, so there you go.
She knew.
Mary knows. Mary knows, so happy birthday to Mary.
Me and Mary have got a connection.
I'm saying you haven't. I'll have a connection in a minute because I'm going for me tea. So there you go. Yeah, so hit that like button.
Gone through all
like you said, I've
comments?
gone through loads. A lot of them are just asking. It was Kia Joraban on the phone to me, and was it Bill Kenwright offering me till the end of the season and all of that stuff. Michael Woods says, lads, with all the crack with the board investigation in true succession style, Farhad, Marcel, you're not doing your job out, Marcel. But I was meant to be directing the foot. Farhad, F off.
I'm not being funny, right? But anyone who's watched Succession, the dad in that, I mean, he's not like Bill Kenwright, but you can see he's 80 and he refuses to let go of his company because he thinks all his kids are idiots. There are similarities, like, you can see similarities there.
Yeah, but I mean, fair enough, isn't it? It's fair enough.
What are you saying, Ned?
Should
Honest to God. Honestly. Right.
I've only just got that, by the way. I've only just got that. Yeah, because Jack Frost looks like Bill Kenwright. Yeah. You're aware of this, aren't you?
I am aware of it. Michael Keaton.
Yeah. But he looks like... Because CGI.
I know.
I'm just making it...
I just don't... I think what you're doing now, you're starting to give him gravitas for stupid comments.
I think you've got to allow him a bit of room, though. Just a little bit.
He has we allowed him room.
No.
We give him... I give him 5 minutes of me time before to show me a video that wasn't funny.
Hang on. How much joy do we get out of Ned saying things?
Loads.
Right. So imagine we stopped letting him say things.
No, I let him say things, but sometimes when he just makes a random comment in left field there, you've got to just leave that where it is. I think you're right. I think
the comment he made about the 20-year-old before, incredible.
Exactly, yeah. So, yeah, happy birthday to Mary. Season ticket holder, Everton, all of that.
Yeah.
I'm going to see her and have me tea now. So, take it easy.
You're going to start Afterlife tonight?
Possibly, yeah. I'll try. I will try.
Watch it.
I will watch it. Finish the tour.
It's on for like 27
minutes.
No,
but no, I love it. I will.
I mean, you love it that much and it's been out nearly a week.
Oh, that's a long time. I'm watching other stuff, but yeah, I will.
Prioritise.
Piv, it's a good way to finish. The Piv said Ned Pilkington.
Yeah, he is, honestly, he is. And
he's funnier than Carl Pilkington.
No, he's much funnier.
Because
he's much stupider. And he gives himself...
in a positive way.
And he gives himself... He's appointed himself a position at this company that doesn't exist, and he wants a promotion from that position to another position that doesn't exist. Yeah. And
I like the confidence.
Though. No, I do like the confidence. The same confidence that he shows, and when he talks about football and playing football.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing.
Yeah.
The boss thing is with our new mics, no one can hear that.
No,
so
but he is funny.
And because he hasn't figured out, even though he's paid 27 grand to figure out, he can't figure out how to use these two mics and another mic.
I've got one on right here.
Yeah, but you've silenced us.
I haven't silenced you.
Oh, okay.
Don't underestimate your managing, producing director ever again. Or I'll direct you out the building.
What a way to finish. We'll be back at 1 tomorrow. See you later.